You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Oprah Winfrey Network, the Oprah Recap Show. We'll bring you all the highlights from the week in OWN and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's Oprah Winfrey Network, the Oprah Recap Show.
What's happening, everybody? What is going on? I feel like I hear a river in the background for some reason. Are we on the ocean? Are we out on the ocean this week doing the OWN Oprah Recap?
We definitely
Well,
are.
everyone, since we're out on the pier, we're just going to get everybody to saddle up if you got your fishing poles and all that other good stuff. Everybody, we are so here in the AFTERBUZZ Studios. I'm your host, Brookshire, and my co-host, Miss Shereen, is in his
Hello.
house. Of course, we have DJ Ronnie still up in here trying to get things together in the booth. We're going to be definitely bringing you an exciting show today on a lot of really great things. How you been doing this week, Miss Shereen?
Super good.
Super good?
Super good.
What's new with you?
What is new?
What is new with you?
Well, I am going back to, my little NLP certification this coming weekend.
Oh, that's what's up.
So kind of gearing up for that.
Okay.
Pretty excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you now? What are you going to be learning like different this week? Like, do you think? Did they tell you kind of what to be expecting? Because I mean, once you get the gist of it, it seems like you got it.
Yeah.
You keep. What is it like? Just beating it into you? Like, how
Honestly,
does it work?
I think they give you sort of like the general outline the first weekend.
Okay.
And then I think it gets really scientific and like down to the nitty gritty as far as like the brain and how it works and why all this general info should make sense to me.
Right.
So I'm going to come back, the next Sunday, like, boom, pack with a punch. Really super smart.
Right. Like, because, I mean, when you came in last week, it was just like I was sitting back listening to the show and the way you broke it down, I mean, it was just so smooth. I mean, it was, no, seriously, it was totally smooth. And I mean, it is such a pleasure having you on the show. Like, I definitely, it is a treat to come here every week and to be able to have your experience and your expertise and your smile and your laughter and your energy. So again, thank you so much. Just keep it coming. And so now I'm going to smooze you too a little bit, audience. We love you so much. And we thank you for tuning in, and just make sure that you are keeping us posted and, definitely call in.
Yeah.
We're at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. Make sure that you call in. Now, if you hear that river in the background, just don't worry about it. We're going live. Just float on and roll on along with us. Okay. So as we always do, we're going to be taking us straight into the words of the day, everyone. So the words of the day this week are going to be talking about our 3 best assets.
Brooks,
Yes.
real quick, just to let you know,
What's
you
going
gave
on?
out the phone number. Yes, the noise you hear in the background, that's the reception from your guest, B. Winston.
Oh, B.
That's
Winston.
what I figured, yeah.
There's nothing wrong technically.
Oh,
is that
B.
me,
Winston.
really?
Yeah, brother, you got a lot going on back there, brother. And matter of fact, I'm glad he said something. B. Winston is in the house too.
Yeah,
What's
I'm in the house,
going
ladies and
on,
gentlemen. Good to
B.
be back. Good to be back.
What's up, man? Can you get off of the pier, please? Like, it is not fishing season.
It's weird because I actually got the phone in my ear, but maybe let me take it out and see if that makes a difference. Hold on.
Jeez, Louise.
Did that help?
That helped tremendously, brother.
Yes, we're very happy.
We appreciate you so much.
No. I apologize. Thanks, guys.
No problem, man. Miss Winston. Oh, Miss Shereen's gonna be going into the words of the day, definitely, and it's gonna be talking about our 3 best assets. So we're still in the Accelerate Your Life series, everyone. So we're still about accelerating your life, and it's gonna be a part 3. So we're gonna be going in more about really dealing with how the relationships and friendships really deal with accelerating our lives, and going into those elements and really exploring, how having the right ones or not can actually take us to the next level or maybe stagnate us, etc. So Miss Shereen, whenever you're ready for the words of wisdom.
Oh,
for
honey,
the
I'm
week.
ready. Let's do this.
Get it going.
Your 3 best assets.
Yes.
1, a positive attitude.
Okay.
The glass is neither half full nor half empty. It is overflowing.
Yes.
The glass is a metaphor for your life, and your thoughts and attitude determine its capacity. When you're positive and upbeat, good things can happen. When you're negative and depressed, things tend to go wrong.
Hey.
A positive attitude is a great gift.
Yes, thoughts are things. I mean,
true.
you got to keep a positive attitude in, in life in general, because I've found, and it happens when you are reaching for your destiny, you have to know that all kind of unique things will come.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but even before just even doing this show, all kind of unique things have presented themselves. And it's all about being able to keep your mind focused, keep your attitude right, to be able to know how to push forward no matter what, because those storms only come. You go through them. They only come for a season or come for a second. You just don't stay there. Don't ever stay in a stormy area. You always reach for that positive attitude, that positive thinking, so therefore you can grow through it to the next point. What's our number 2?
Amen, brother.
Yes,
Preach.
definitely.
Okay.
For
Number
sure.
2.
Number 2.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Trying to give up the need to control everyone and every. Oh, sorry. Try giving up the need to control everyone and every situation in your life.
Right.
There's a quote that applies here. For peace of mind, give up being general manager of the universe. Give yourself the gift of peace of mind.
That is a good one, a
so
peace of
good.
mind.
Yeah.
I like to tell people, and I read this study with Joe Vitale, he said, take yourself back to the whiteboard. He did the whiteboard exercise, which is really clearing your mind. He said, imagine yourself, with everything that you have as a big whiteboard, and imagine all the thoughts, all the things that's going on in your life, every issue, everything that you can think of, imagine writing that on that board. If you write on that board enough, eventually you're going to be writing on top of the words. It's going to get all
Right.
full and black, and that's when people really start getting into that point where depression comes, stress comes, because there's no organization, there's no flow, there's no roadmap, there's no organization to take you to the next level. So remember, people, you always want to get yourself back to the state of that clear whiteboard. Whatever you can do, if you can picture in your head, and I know right now you're picturing a whiteboard in your head, and everybody's
So
been in the
true.
classroom with it. You are picturing. I'm not gonna do like I said. Don't picture a whiteboard. Don't picture.
Exactly.
You got it down too. So and picture writing things on it, and then. And feeling the stress and the complications of all the stuff, you can't even see all the jumble on the board, then just imagine releasing it by erasing one thing at a time. And your goal is to always get back to the white board,
That's
peace of mind. Number 3.
I'm going to try that.
Right.
Number 3, and it's my favorite.
Yes.
Love. Yes. Sing it. You are special and unique. You deserve your love. In fact, life has no meaning unless you love yourself. Some people think it is selfish and egotistical to love yourself, but it is impossible to give another what you do not have yourself. And then the end to wrap it up. It says, the great thing about these gifts is you don't have to fight the crowds at the mall, and there are no out-of-pocket costs. They are non-returnable and renewable. What a deal.
Yes. And love is so, it is so powerful. It is so powerful, and I think sometimes love can be misunderstood depending on where it's coming from.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, it is one of the most powerful forces. And as long as you know in your car, while you're in your car and in your core,
Exactly.
as long as you know that, as long as you're doing something with love in your heart and you're doing something with the best intentions, then you should be able to move forward and knowing that no matter what, good or bad, that it's going to work out in your favor for you. Love is an important part of being able to move forward in your life. And everybody needs a little bit of love. We need to learn how to give those out in buckets, and just endless. Like you said, it's low cost. You don't have to go and try to find it. All you have to do is just accept it in, welcome it in, and it's a unlimited amount of resources that you can tap yourself into. So everybody, that was definitely the words of the day. Make sure that you understand that the words of the day, keep your mind right, keep your attitude right, and then walk in love. So we're going to go into, of course, just things. This is a loving time and just walking in love. We're going to be talking about a couple of ideas and some of the things that we may have done for the Valentine's Day situation. So Miss Shereen, I'm going to let you lead into that one discussion on how that all worked out for you and what you think that day meant for the future, etc.
Well, I did a little survey about what women like to have done for them on Valentine's Day.
Did you do one for the men too?
No.
Because I'm gonna ask you that question. What do you get a man for Valentine's Day? Because that's unique. But go ahead.
Yes,
what was your survey?
and I will tell you what. I got my amazing boyfriend.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so it seems like most women do like the cliche red rose.
Right.
Or roses sent to work, brought at the door. It doesn't really matter. It just seems like red roses run rampant in the woman's mind as far as Valentine's Day.
Right.
So that's one thing. Some women are like, I really want a big weekend, la la la. Some are like, just take me out to dinner. But it seems like the overarching, common denominator that I found was that it's a big deal to women. There was that's it. There was no way around that.
You can't miss that day.
Yeah, like if a guy doesn't do something nice on Valentine's Day, it's like relationship detonator. Like it's very problematic. So Valentine's Day means a lot to women as far as feeling loved.
Okay, well, you've heard it. Valentine's Day definitely means a lot to women. Now, me being a man, B. Winston, you definitely being a man. What is a comfortable gift on Valentine's Day for, a woman to give a man that wouldn't be so like, do you get them plants, or do you get them a plant, or do you get them flowers? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's kind of interesting you asking that question, because this was actually the first year that me and my Valentine's Day partner did something totally outside of the box, in the sense that we went and painted pictures and shared a bottle of wine, and it was actually very refreshing, very different.
So cute.
And it was different, and it wasn't my idea. It was her gift to me and my gift to her. It wasn't that expensive. It was painting with a twist, actually, is what it calls. And it was a different experience. No one really had to, fight through the hustle and bustle of the stores, and we got to spend some time together, and we got to express our artistic side towards what would be painted. One of us painted the key, and the other of us painted the heart with a keyhole in it. And I have to say, in 28 years, that ranks in the top 3 of my Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow.
So nice.
That is definitely interesting. That is definitely interesting. Now, I can say maybe one of my moments in Valentine's Day history, I had my moment to where, I did like the little scavenger hunt thing where I used, this was my college days. It's been a little while, but my college days, I used the whole campus as a treasure chest, with scavenger hunt. So every time she would go to one little piece, she could press, what's going on back there? Is that you, Brent, B. Winston?
I don't know if that's me or not. It's all kind of, here's the noise. Is that me?
Yeah, it would have to be. It's in the studio? Yeah, it would have to be on your end, man. Go to the bathroom if that's the case. Like, go
do
somewhere.
What you gotta
go
do.
Get in the car, brother, and go in the
I think I just
garage.
fixed it.
Okay, cool. But yes, did a whole treasure hunt over the whole entire school, which was an amazing situation. So by the time that she finally came back to our picnic, she had like a bundle of goodies in her hand. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'm a giver. Super
impressive, ladies. Single.
I'm hey, don't be, But you know how that works. So it was definitely a very interesting memory that I always kind of go back to say, I got that in me. I got that little romantic thing. I know how to, this year I just basically graced my goddaughter with, make sure she had a cute little,
that's so nice.
Yeah, I told her to come to the door. She's like, I got a gift for you. And I was like, do you really? She's like, close your eyes. And so I closed my eyes, and she put a little chocolate heart in my hand. And then I said, okay, now I got a gift for you. Close your eyes. And I bought her this big old stuffed yellow little pillow that had princess on it and little gifts and stuff. And so when I put it in her little hand, I said, hold your hand out. Her little hand dropped all the way to the ground. And she started cheesing before she even opened her eyes. And I was just like, open your eyes. She was like, oh my God. That was
is
cute.
So cute.
So that was my Valentine's this year. My
so
goddaughter.
cute.
I wanted to show her and step her game up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was definitely interesting. So really quick, what we're gonna do, if there's not any more Valentine's Day love of scenarios, we're gonna take you straight into Miss Shereen, and we're gonna be going into a couple of levels of friendship. I'm gonna be discussing some levels of friendship, but then in the mix we're gonna be talking about relationships and how that accelerates our life to the next level.
Yes.
And B, I still hear that feedback going on your end, brother. So so Miss Shereen, take it to the house.
All right. So I was actually contacted by a lovely young lady who wanted me to write an article on love.
Okay.
So that's kind of what prompted, this whole show idea, and just kind of thinking really about what does love mean to us as far as you said, accelerating our lives. How does it affect our lives? All that. And so, you know, I ended up giving kind of like 5 words of advice for women in dating for this article, and kind of went into all that. And we'll go into advice towards the end of the show.
Right.
But I did want to ask you, you know, we had interviewed you in one of our shows, and you had mentioned that you were almost married.
Right.
And I was like, oh, my little radar went off. I was like, tell me about this. So, I mean, just, you know, as far as like how it ties into, you know, love in general, like what that was like for you, what happened. I mean, I'd just like to hear a little more about that.
Again, and this is just shout outs to at that time, you know, to the very beautiful lady. She's very talented and still a really great friend of mine. It was one of those things where it was 2 best friends that really decided to see if it could work. Yeah. You know, we went off and did our own things for a while and bumped back into each other and was like, wow, look at you. Wow, look at you. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, we had history. So we assumed with that history that it was enough to be able to take it to that next level. But as we got more deeper inside of the scenario, we started realizing that there's more to it, of course, than just being friends. There's more to that. And plus we went over the experience of actually having to kiss each other when we were like best friends at one point. So it was all that.
You're like,
you know, but it should be okay now. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, it's been it was a difference. It was a paradigm shift in the thought. Yeah. You know, I was that guy that with her, I used to always look at her and say, one day, it was my dream, really. Yeah. I was like, one day I'm going to get her. And we were best friends. You know, I don't know all y'all guys out there that got really pretty best friends. I know y'all like them probably on the low. You ain't going to tell them because you'll lose your friendship. But you probably like them on the low. But
that's hilarious.
If you keep it positive and you keep growing, you may can get them because, you know, my thing was, you know, I was a chubby kid back in the day, and then, you know, you grew up and you grow, and then, you know, when a person don't see you for a while and they realize like, whoa, everybody's changes, everything changes, your needs change, your wants change as you get a little older, and you start desiring different things, and it just worked out at that time. We're still really good friends. I definitely recommend anytime the dating process. In the love situation, relationships, date, get to know someone, you know, and that's one advice, get to know someone, see a person when they're angry, you know, see them. If you're dating someone, if you're in a relationship with someone, if you're thinking about getting married to someone, see them when they get angry, make sure that you know they know how to handle themselves, that you don't end up against, you know, the window or the wall or dragged all over the house because they decide to get married, you know, or she acts crazy and wants to call the cops and threaten and lie and just, you know, see how a person acts when they're under stress.
Question real quick?
Go ahead.
Should we make them angry?
No, you don't. Listen, no. You don't make them angry. But there's some people that come with their own sets of issues, and they come looking for a savior. And you know, it's like you have a lot of relationships these days that 2 halves try to come together to make a whole, and that's not what is effective. You want 2 wholes to come together. I believe if each person comes with 105%, then that's 210% there. So you still have room for when you don't feel good, you still giving 100%. Yeah. You know, because you've given extra so long that you still have that reserve in place. So you don't want to make them crazy. Yeah. But
you know, and I love what you're saying. And one thing just to hop on top of that is like, along with the fact that a really great relationship can accelerate your life, it can also decelerate your life.
That's right.
Like in the way that you're talking, if you do sort of create this dynamic that's unhealthy, that can create negative energy, you know, between you two, then you better get out of that relationship.
You better get
quick.
out.
Yeah.
And you better know, in relationships, you really got to know, because who you are attached to, who you are yoked to. When I use the word yoke, think about animals, oxen. When they used to have to go in 2, the yoke was the tie that went around both of their necks. So when one would move one way, they would have to move together. So when whoever they put a weak animal next to them that didn't want to work, then you got problems. And so when you attach yourself to someone, whether it's a friend, a relationship, a boyfriend, whatever the case may be, then you're really yoking yourself to that energy, that person. And depending on how strong you are, what you're going through, you know, it could be the end or the uplifting of a new thing or a bad thing. I mean, 'cause I'm a firm believer at this point in life, relationships, anyone should be brung into for a positive thing as an adult. Right. That's really what we're going to get. And we're not going to get it to be hurt consciously. Now, subconsciously, you may have had a lot of issues, and it happens because you've created it. But your conscious thought of going into it was going into it for peace, love. And most people don't understand how to control their thoughts or their words or to clean up that back part, so they get a lot of the old stuff that other people brung them in this relationship, you know.
Yeah, and that's what you see with like the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation.
Right.
That's what you see, I mean, in my opinion, with like the Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries.
Right.
You know, just kind of people who fell into old patterns. Obviously, you don't go into a relationship thinking, hey, I really want to get married and then I want to get divorced after 6 weeks.
Right.
Nobody does that.
Right.
But it's go ahead, B. Winston.
Let's do note that was reality, that was for non-reality reality TV. And also the Chris Brown and Rihanna thing, it looks like that love is going to prevail in that situation because from what I read in the internet in these last 48 hours, they're back together. And I could be wrong, but I do believe they're back together on the record.
But like you're talking about something different. I'm not talking about their love prevailing. I'm talking about the fact that that relationship was hurtful to the both of them. Like, honestly, they're going to get back together, and I would be shocked if a different outcome happened. Because, go ahead.
Well, two halves. It's just like what Brookshire said. If you have two halves coming together to make a whole, there's always going to be something lacking. Well, Chris Brown came out publicly and said, hey, you know, my dad was an abusive father to my mother, and that's kind of what I've seen, and that's not right, but that's kind of not the excuse, but somewhat of a reason of why I acted out in that manner.
Right. And
Right.
I'm definitely not condemning them. I'm just giving an example of a dynamic that would decelerate your life. I mean, that's really
right. And at that point, it did, because all the drama that came, it almost cost him his career.
Exactly.
So at that point, it was a big thing because, you know, even though that happened, well, you still had the choice to beat on somebody regardless.
Exactly.
So, or whatever that is. So, I mean, you really, and it goes back to understanding how a person is, you know, and you caring, the individuals caring about themselves. You know, when you care about you and you have a respect for you and you put all you can into you, then you're not going to allow any and everyone to treat you anyway. And I'll tell people all the time, you have to teach people how to treat you.
True.
You have to teach your friends how to treat you. You have to teach your relationships how to treat you, and you teach them how you carry yourself and how you walk your talk is how you show other people how to treat you, because they come from their backgrounds of however and whatever they learn. So if they used to calling people bitches and hoes, and it's not nothing to them, then if you're a female, then they're calling you a bitch, and that's not offensive to them because that's just what they're used to. But they need to know, whoa, little daddy, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, little monkey. You feel me? Like, that's
not gonna work.
That's not gonna work, and that's not gonna work moving forward. Let's do something different, because there could be one that doesn't necessarily like that. So that's important.
Brookshire, I mean, I think I have a question even for you guys. Like, that's the hardest part, though, is that letting go. You know, using those excuses from behind. Hard. You know, Chris Brown, he saw his mom get beat by his stepdad. You know, but not let. I like how you guys commented on that, because you do have to let that go if you're gonna be a better person moving forward. You definitely got to get the past. But do you guys have advice for the people that are watching this show on how you do let go of those, you know, women with daddy issues or whatnot? How do you move forward? Because it's a good point.
Well, I'm going to speak.
That's tough.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is like a 20-hour conversation.
That's a good point, but
because that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean,
because it's so deep.
Because it's a little bit of counseling, it's a little bit of wanting something different, and it's a little bit of trying to find out what makes you happy in the midst of knowing your daddy issues, knowing, you know, your abusive parent issues. Kind of like Chris Brown, not to keep using him, but he admitted, hey, I used that behavior because as a child, that was a behavior that was etched into my brain as a young man.
Exactly.
But he knew right from wrong. You know right from wrong, but putting your hands on somebody is right from wrong. And so I come from the factor of, you know, faith comes by hearing. I mean, that's my thing. I think anything that, and his question was, how do you come out of that process? If that's where you are and you realize it, how do you step out? Well, that's like if you want to make money, how do you learn how to make it? You go and you educate yourself on that topic. And I think today's society, there is more than enough information from domestic violence. There's all kind of information out there that if a person really want to learn how to have a paradigm shift in that thought process, because nothing just happens. We attract to us everything. You know, even if it's subconscious.
What we attract in relationships is what we saw as a child.
You know, and so for instance, in that time frame of Chris Brown realizing that his mistakes caused the subconscious aspect of putting it in, and he never talked about it and seeing it, it actually came
Manifested,
out.
yeah.
What was it? They said that the physical world is a manifestation of the spiritual world, emotional world, and also the mental world. Yeah. So the physical world, once you get your thoughts, your mind, and your emotions and your spirituality together, you have now the results of the world we live in. Is the results of it. So you kind of got to sit back and ask yourself, you know, if you got this situation, how did it come? And if he realized that it came from what he put in, then the only way that you're going to get something else in is renewing your mind, putting in that new information where it's enough in there that floods out the old information.
Yeah, and the truth is, I mean, like, the universe will give you some sort of effect that will cause you to evolve past the situation. We're getting into NLP now. This is what I studied with the whole certification thing. And I'm going to say that, like, for Chris Brown and Rihanna, that was probably an awakening for the both of them. They probably both, up until that, I mean, they were young, you know, so they probably both, up until that point, didn't really realize they had that in them. But when they came together and they created this craziness, then they realized, whoa, we got to step back and do a little bit of personal development and figure out what this means. And that can be honestly the best thing that happens to anybody. That's why sometimes the wrongest, most nastiest times in your life can be the most pivotal moments where you just do an about face 180 degrees and you go, whoa, I don't want that. And then your life changes.
Let me ask you guys this, just to interject really quickly. For some parents like yours, Brookshire, how long has your mom and dad been married?
34, I think, December.
Woo!
All right. Awesome. Mine were married 22 before they got a divorce. His is 34. It's still going. Great thing. That's an applaud for everyone out there in the world. But check this out. What about when you're married for 19, 20, 22, 24 years, and when you just realize, hey, I want to change. I want something different. Does that mean that there is no more love? Or does that mean that your love has evolved?
I think that, again, garbage in, garbage out. And I think if you're wanting something different when you have a partner and you two aren't wanting the same thing, then somewhere along the lines you have lost that communication. Somewhere along the lines you have not done what you were in a covenant of, because a marriage is a covenant. And it's no single. It's not he money, it's she money. You know, and so it's not about you. And if you've decided to go in and become in that selfishness, and I think the reason why we gain in relationships, especially marriages, is to break that selfishness. It's bringing someone else in that is different from you, that you can't be all about you because it's another person, and they can't be all about them. We have to care about each other, and when we are able to care about each other, that's just where the law of seed and harvest grows in. You're planting, I'm receiving, we're planting, we're receiving, we're planting, you're receiving. It all comes into that light on that end. But I want to just take it to another steps in, you know, even just out of relationships with, like, you know, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. What about the relationships that when you're with a best friend, or you're with a homie or a friend that you grew with that may be toxic? You know, you may have started off with them when you were younger and you were shooting the shit, show as an expression, and you were out there having a good time. But then as you started growing inside of your knowledge and you started realizing that maybe that's not the way I want to go, you started getting more enlightened. They may have decided to go a different direction and been fine with where their life was. How do you stay when that person, you love them, but then their behavior is not what you need to take it to the next level? That's my question that I've dealt with, you know, with best friends and close people. And then, you know, they're not being the exact right one for you where you're going, but you don't want to let them go either, you know, because you do that little bit of gossip here and there, or that little bit of extra here and there, or they're good sometimes, you know, but it really is an abusive relationship. It's just one that you decided to take on because you met them when you were 2 years old or whatever.
Or in my case, and I can speak this straight from the heart, in my case right now, the one that was there when things weren't going well. You know what I mean? You get, and for me personally, you almost sense a little sense of loyalty to the fact of when I ain't had nothing, they was holding it down. Now I'm getting a little more, and I'm coming up the ladder. But even then, I knew that this person may or may not have been the person, but they were the one at the time when I needed someone.
And that's difficult because that puts you in bondage. And I always tell people, that if you can relieve yourself from people bondage and the results of people, I mean, you have freed yourself immensely whenever you're able to take yourself out of what people may think about you or feel, because that is what a lot of people, and that's how that friend will keep you, is to say, well, when you was going through, I was there for you. I was there. I was there. Well, like Janet said, well, what have you done for me lately? You know,
you ain't never gonna find nobody as good to you as I was. It's the mental, and it might not be physical abuse, but that's a mental trap of people bondage.
It's people bondage and manipulation, and it is.
But but sometimes, honestly, like, I'm a life coach and I've been studying this stuff forever, and I know in my mind, okay, if something's draining me, let it go.
Right.
But I feel like it's deeper than that. Like, sometimes people have attachments from
soul
childhood
tides,
stuff.
right?
Exactly. Or sometimes people, like, let's say I have abandonment issues from my childhood. I don't want to abandon someone else. And this is where counseling comes in, or NLP, or some form of therapy that will take you past your conscious mind and into your unconscious that will help you let go, or let go of things that are keeping you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And and when I think about therapy, it really is repetition. I mean, they go for months to hear the same thing because it's the learning process. You can do through it. You can move through it. Right. And I think if that person realizes that how the learning process works, then they'll realize as long as I'm around this content that I'm not really for sure of long enough, I'll be able to connect the tools eventually. Because I mean, that's really what it's about. If you don't have it and you know that you can identify there's something you need, go after it. If you're dealing with difficult people, pick up a book on how to deal with difficult people. So if you want to be able to be a better lover, if you want to be a better friend, get some of Dale Carnegie's books, how to win friends and influence people. There is something. There is nothing to the human experience, according out here, that we can't go and find a way to at least deal with.
Right.
Even if you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
All your arms and your legs fall off or get cut off. I mean, and that's happening. There was issues on the Oprah show where this one lady, she had a baby, and in the hospital, she caught this disease, and they had to amputate both of her arms and her legs.
Whoa.
While she was having birth. She came out of the hospital with nubs.
No way. Oh my God.
Yes, but her will to raise her child, was more than enough. She nubbed it and made it work. And she was on the show, and she came back and she was happy because she said, she was not going to miss those times of spending with her daughter, and making it. And
that's amazing.
And you see these kind of stories all the time about what the mind can do once you put it to that right point. So that is the one thing that I will say. And this is one reason why we're going to be going into the 6 levels of friendship, everyone, because we need to be able to realize when we put a person in a certain category, like when we give them a title, and that's one thing that Eckhart Tolle used to talk about, which is really just going back, and even with the Taoism in general, it's just not giving it nothing. You're not a mom. You're not a wife. You once you label a person, now you put stereotypes on them. You put these demands on them. Now you've just put them in a box with the label. And I know sometimes those labels allow us to be able to get to know how to move forward, but you still box that oak tree. When you put it as an oak tree, now you box it in with everything an oak tree is that you know about. And so this will allow you to be able to kind of assess where these people fit in and be able to really say, okay, is this really a homie, or is this a friend, or is this like a DFF, a dearest friend, or is this like an old best friend? Like, you'll be surprised, and these come from genuine experience, So we're gonna go into it. Yeah, let's take some notes. So we're gonna go straight into the 6 levels of friendship. So I'm gonna break each one down, and then I'm gonna throw them at y'all and say, have y'all ever experienced any of these things before? And those senses, and then we're just kind of play with them. And so the first one in these 6 levels of friendship that I think is the associate, and understanding where that associate spot fits. Now, for me, the associate is that person that's like your coworker. That's somebody that you're here and there. Maybe it's a neighbor that you're kind of blending with. You may go out sometimes and have a drink if they're out, party a little bit, but it might not be the person that you will let watch your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may not say, baby, go over there and stay with him for an hour. Right. You may not go in their house and really eat their food or anything of that nature, but they're cool people. You'll talk about little things here and there. You might get invited to their wedding or their baby shower or whatever, or their cookout, things of that nature, but it's still an associate. Come by, that kind of thing. So I want to throw out to you, when you hear the word associates, because so many people are so quick to say, oh, this is my friend. I just met you on the corner. And when I introduce you to my other real friend, oh yeah, this is my new friend.
Yeah.
You don't even know this person.
Right.
That you don't know who this person is. Because I'll tell you the truth. I've had a lot of people that have called me their friends that have done the dirtiest. So you start evaluating what is a friend, and so that's kind of where this comes in. So when you hear the word associate and you're looking at a person in the associate level, what comes to you, Shereen?
For me, honestly, the word that comes to me is like functional. Like, it's just someone who's kind of functional in your life. Like you said, like a coworker, you may attend their functions, but it's all just a function of like social norms, and it's just like serves this purpose, but it's not very deep. It's just kind of on the outskirts.
Just like on the outer levels, the outer skirts of it. Okay, so cool. So now I'm gonna go straight into number 2, and I'm gonna throw this one at you, B, once we get through it, is the homie and the buddy. This is the homie and the buddy level. Now, this is when you've hung out a little bit more, you've seen each other, you got a couple months in, you kind of know you like some of the same things, you know what I'm saying? So this is that level of, you're getting a little bit more personal. Maybe, you know, some of your kids go to school together. This could be the thing. Y'all, your kids are friends or whatever the case may be, and you may invite them to, you know, maybe over for a gathering or a particular event. You know, this is a person that you might not tell your important business to. You may not spill all the beans to them, but you'll kind of, you know, maybe get their opinion, or maybe ask some questions, or see kind of what their thought process is. This is the homie or the buddy level. So, B, I'm gonna throw that out to you. What does that mean when you hear the homie or the buddy level and the levels of friendship? What kind of person comes to mind for you in that?
Normally, a homie or a buddy is somebody I probably wouldn't tell anything personal to. Somebody that I can probably go to the gym with, hang out with, catch a movie with. I mean, if it's a single homie in my life and we going out, we catching drinks, you know, talking to women together. If it's a female and she's a buddy, she could be before associate level, and we just getting to know one another, getting to know her likes, dislikes, you know, making sure she's, you know, on point when we go out and that sort of thing. You know, growing, something that can grow into something else.
Okay, cool. So now we're going to go straight into number 3, which is what everybody loves to call people, which is their friend. We're going to go straight into number 3, which is their friend. Now, this friend person is going to be the person that you have history with, of course. This is going to be someone that you have a deeper level of knowledge with. You've been through some things, you know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all wore each other clothes before, you know what I'm saying? Like, you may cut her hair, you know, this be the person that you wouldn't mind necessarily saying, could you watch my kid? You know, when I run to the store, I might not necessarily, you may leave him with him for a week or something like that if you're going out of town, but you might not necessarily, unless they were like, So that's gonna be also someone that you can pray with, that you believe that has your best interest in mind. You know, this is gonna be somebody that, you know, if you needed something, advice, if you were going through something, they will at least take the time out to hear you. If you call their phone and they're available, they're gonna answer and at least see what's going on, or return a quick phone call back. Because, you know, some people don't get that quick phone call back. So this friend person may get this phone call back. All right, so that's gonna be number 3. So all of y'all that are looking into the friends, and also where I've grown in a little bit more with the business aspect of things, my friends, especially the new friends, we need to be able to make some money with each other. We need to be able to grow. We need to be able to grow and increase. If I'm here by myself and then I bring you on as a new friend, you should be able to bring more.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 of us now.
Yeah.
Totally.
So if you have come in and you've taken away, then I can't call you my friend. You may be an assignment, and that's what we haven't put on here. There's a lot of people that are assignments to us that we're here to help or to get to a certain level that I wouldn't call friend just because they've been around. So never confuse the sympathy and the empathy thing. Empathy, if you haven't do too much empathy with somebody, they may, depending on the level, you know, because your friends need it sometimes too, but too quick, they may just be an assignment. So, and some people switch to assignments, especially once you get out of a level to where you're not communicating on the same way of thinking. So we're going to go into number 4. Because I really want to get this out, which is going to be your best friends, which is your BFF, or your best friends forever. So everybody has them. That's when you have that buddy that is rolling with you, moving with you. Y'all are going out to eat together. Y'all are rolling together. Y'all are vacationing together. Y'all are hanging out together. This is that person that you are pretty much trusting with everything. This is your best friend. I mean, this is the one that you're talking to almost every day. If you leave and go opposite sides of the country, this is that person that you are still communicating with all the time. So if any of y'all remember, you know, and I want y'all to think, and I know we're wrapping this up soon with the show, but anybody can remember that person that has your back no matter what. Now, if anybody tells you they love you to death, be careful. Because words are powerful, and you don't need no one loving you to death. And sometimes people, I've had issues of that, and it has become a negative. And I had to realize, like, whoa, stop saying that, because your behavior is starting to be wrong. It's being it's killing. It is not uplifting and bringing life because of those terms. And so just make sure you keep your eyes on things when people say things towards you. And then, of course, the fifth one we're going to have is your dearest friend forever, which is your DFF. Now, this is that person that is your best friend. Let's say, for instance, you've known them forever. They're no longer just like your best friend. They've kind of grown into like your cousin. So you may have to cuss them out sometimes. You may end up having to put them out your house. You might even have to call the police or change your phone numbers, but you love them and you love what they bring. So you kind of say, you know what, you more like family now. I done known you since I was, we were both pulling up Pampers together. So you a DFF, I'm just going to put you on the sideline, but you don't allow that person also to affect your opinion. You can neutralize them if they're not in the right way of thinking. So that's your DFF. And then last but not least, before we get up out of here, is going to be your OBF. Now, your OBF is your old best friend. That's somebody that you were really good friends with at one point. Maybe something came up. Maybe you started dating their girlfriend or boyfriend, vice versa. When you were younger, y'all stopped being friends. Years later, y'all come back, y'all more mature, y'all get back together, and it's like, wow, why did we ever even break up for something so stupid? And you still kind of keep your eye on them, but then you still have a good time with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're your OBF. You can tell them some things because they were your best friend, so you can talk to them. But you kind of like a little cautious because they done hurt you a little bit. So you kind of like, I could let you back in, but you my old best friend now.
Right.
Like,
the trust is broken.
We can rebuild it, something new, something fresh. It really just depends situation by situation because you always want to set yourself up for forgiving people. You always want to set yourself up for forgiving. But your OBF, I have a few of them now, which has been an amazing thing. So that really just is a growth process too.
Yeah,
it's really
a
growth process to be able to bring back in, because some people say once we stop being friends, I can't mess with you no more. And I think as long as people grow and they change and they're educated, it's always a chance for new beginnings. So really quick, we're going to be getting ready to head up out of here because this show has been running and we've been really getting into these topics on friendship and really going into things. But before we wrap up, I just want to close this with what I know for sure. And this is what I know for sure. So really quick, Miss Shereen, I want you to tell us really fast on when it comes to relationships, friendships, what do you know for sure before we get up out of here?
What I know for sure is that, okay, so I have to say this because relationship is important. Jack Canfield, I saw him speak once. And he talked about a study. I think I've mentioned this to you before. He talked about a study where basically they were trying to see who was the most persuasive, like on a scientific, like quantum physics level. And basically they had people sit in front of these computers. This is a Harvard study. Sit in front of these computers and there was like random numbers coming up on the screen. And like I or whoever would, I wasn't in the study, but I'm just example. I would be thinking like the number 888 and see if on a scientific level that if that computer would tune into my thoughts, because thoughts are things, they're quantum physics, atoms, all this kind of energy stuff. And basically they deciphered that the people that were the most persuasive and the most able to manipulate the numbers based solely on their thoughts were people who were in love. Because love is the absolute highest level of energy and highest vibration. So you're the most like empowered, persuasive, influential. You are the most of everything and anything good that you want to be when you're in love. And that's why it's so important to have good, intimate relationships. Yes, that bring happiness and peace. B. Winston, what you know for sure? B. Winston, what you know for sure on relationships?
Say it again.
What is it that you know for sure on relationships? Because we're wrapping it on up, brother.
I got something real quick for you. First thing is that you try to start out how you can hold out.
That's a good one.
Second thing is relationships always changing. So if you're about that change, roll with it. If you're not about that change, pull up, jump out, and pull your parachute. ASAP.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that one. And one thing that I definitely know for sure, like you said, is you definitely want to start out how you can hold out with. And you want to just make sure that you are assessing, making sure that you're equally yoked, people. And when I say that, you're equally connected. If you come in contact, I don't care how good they look, I don't care how sexy, how fly they are, if they're not on the same wavelength as you, if they're not in the same direction as you, people, kick them to the curb. Kick them to the curb. And everybody, that was the OWN. Of course, that was our also what we know for sure. This has been an amazing show. Ms. Shereen, we appreciate you coming to the house like always. We definitely look forward to getting back into us next week to get some more NLP. B. Winston, thank you also for calling in.
Thank you for having me. Shereen, you have a good week, sweetheart.
You too.
Appreciate it. And DJ Ronnie, of course, we appreciate the questions, and definitely any more that you have, throw them out there because the audience definitely needs that, brother. So thank you.
Good show, fellas. fellas.
Thank you, thank you,
and
thank
lady.
you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good one.
And remember, everybody, where the mind goes, like we always say, the body follows. Remember, you are someone. You are someone. So act like it. Act like it. I'm your host, Brookshire. This is the Apple Show.
That too.
This is OWN, the Oprah Show recaps, and it's all about living your best life. So make sure you live it. Until next time, next Sunday, 4:15 p.m. Catch us there. We will be live. Until next time.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.